Hey everybody, it's been a while since I posted a video. I just want to thank everyone for their very kind comments and uh, words of inspiration and saying, hey, why don't you do some more? I've gotten some really good suggestions. Kind of waiting actually to pick up a couple of albums before I do some of those. So in the meantime, I thought, I got to get something back out, and I didn't want it to be too long. I thought, I'm going to pick a real hard, easy topic. Uh, the easy topic is this guy Clark, who passed away 5 years ago this month. Um, was the dean of Texas songwriting. He hated the term craftsman, but that's really what he was. He was a luthier. He he put the same attention to detail to his songs. He never wrote a bad song. Um, what made it sort of easy here for me is some of the albums are eliminated not because of the songs. The songs are fantastic, but because of the production on them, especially the early ones. They tried to make country records. Even a certain one Rodney Crowell did in the early 80s, there shouldn't have been the production there was. So those were eliminated not because the songs were bad. The songs were fantastic. And when you hear them in stripped down versions acoustically later, there's nothing to touch them. They were amazing. So anyway, Guy Clark was one of the most celebrated songwriters in the history of folk, Americana, country music, etc. Johnny Cash covered his songs. Just a Dylan, just a plethora of people. I can't even think of them all right off the top of my head without notes. So I really like Guy's later work. I really think that once he took control of his own recordings, his own recording sessions, and was given the freedom to do things his way, he said all along, I'm just a folk singer. Um, Once he was allowed to do that, that's when he really started making phenomenal albums overall. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here. My number three pick, and again, these are all amazing. And people out there, some people might disagree with these. I know some of the Guy Clark diehards will. Um, but I'm going to start with an album that came out in 2006. Guy had just been recovering from cancer, and he still managed to sound amazing vocally and turn in a collection of uh, 10 originals and one standard. Um, and the album, of course, I'm talking about on Dual Tone Records is Workbench Songs. Um, Sort of highlights Guy's the different aspects to Guy here. This is, if I can show that without getting too much glare, there he is in his famed workshop. There are so many pictures and shots of that to be found. It's also, the whole workshop is on display at the Country Music Hall of Fame right now, which I'd love to get to. Anyway, so we go to the songs. Listen to this track list: Walkin' Man, Magdalene, Tornado Time in Texas, Funny Bone, Expose, Out in the Parking Lot, No Lonesome Tune, Cinco de Mayo in Memphis, which I believe both Jimmy Buffett and Kenny Chesney, of all people, had hits with. Analog Girl, Worry Be Gone, and then he and his longtime musical partner Verlin Thompson do a rough cut duet of the old classic Diamond Joe on here. Uh, Walking Man has maybe my favorite rhythm guitar, odd little detail, but maybe my favorite rhythm guitar part in any song that he ever did. He mentions everyone from Chuck Berry to Gandhi on that song. Uh, Tornado Time in Texas is an upbeat one that I imagine was fairly autobiographical, as some of his songs were. Out in the Parking Lot, I think we've all been there. The parking lot as the bar's closing down and the lights go out, and a couple of fellas may get into it over a girl, and you might be tailgating a little bit, and you can hear the band outside. We've all been in that parking lot. Um, just a fantastic collection of songs. Not my absolute favorite, but in my top three, which for Guy Clark is quite something. So again, uh, number 3 favorite Guy Clark album, Workbench Songs. These don't go in chronological order. This one, um, which I believe was his last on Sugar Hill Records, came out in 2002. Yeah, I was thinking maybe a little earlier, but 2002. This one I bought, this is going to sound terrible, because it was available at the local Barnes & Noble, which used to have a really great CD section. And it was the only Guy Clark album available there, the only studio album available at the time. And so I thought, oh, I haven't heard anything, but I had gotten a live album and loved it. And this is The Dark by Guy Clark. I have to sort of hold these at a funny angle so we don't get too much glare. Again, this is another one. His voice was great. This was just a little bit before he got sick. Stripped down accompaniment. This one, it has a couple of the Sis Draper songs. If you've read Without Getting Killed or Caught by Tamara Saviano, the Sis Draper collection of songs was about this mythical tough old lady. She was a fiddle player from Arkansas. Magnolia Wind is on here, which is a continuation from the first Sis Draper song. She's briefly mentioned. It's maybe in my top 5 ballads of any genre ever written. Just so beautiful. And Soldier's Joy 1864 talks about Sis's ancestors. A soldier loses his leg, goes home, fiddles, dances with a cane, etc. My wife laughs at me for liking this song, but Homeless is on here. Really honest look at the disparity we have in this country. Bag of Bones, She Loves to Ride Horses. He covers Rex's Blues by Townes on here. You know, of course, Guy Clark and Townes Van Zandt were very dear friends, and Guy recorded a Townes song on almost all of his albums after Townes had passed. I forgot the opening track, Mud, just a kind of a fun down-home song. It sounds kind of serious, but it really isn't. One of my favorite songs, a song I play guaranteed once every year, Queenie's song. He co-wrote with Terry Allen, who was, I kind of think they were like the yin and yang of each other. And after Townes passed, Guy and Terry got really close. So anyway, it's a song about finding, terrible way to put this, but a dead dog. Somebody had actually killed Terry Allen's dog, and they found it. And a guy suggested they write a song about it. But it has the line, New Year's Day in Santa Fe broke mean and it broke cold. And something about that line, I don't know which one of them wrote it. I don't know if they co-wrote it. They've both recorded the song. Something about those lines sends chills up my spine. And so I look forward to New Year's Day even more than I look forward to New Year's Eve, because the first thing I do every single New Year's Day, and have for years, is I get up and I brew a pot of black coffee, and that is the first song I play every single year. It has been for a long time. So anyway, my second favorite Guy Clark album is The Dark. Again, can't recommend any of these enough. Any of these are great places to start. My number 1 is one I wish I had gotten so much sooner. I actually didn't pick it up until maybe 5-6 years ago, at somewhere in there. This was his first studio record back on Sugar Hill. He had done one in the late 80s, and this is the first one he did after his best friend and cohort Townes Van Zandt passed. And this to me is the most solid record Guy Clark ever put together. Every single note is perfect. Every single vocal line is perfect. Every song is perfect. You don't get any better, to me, than the Cold Dog Soup record from 1999. It opens with the title track and has some of his best plays on words. They sat in the back and they drank for free, and they rhymed orange with Rosalie. Now there's a pride of lions to draw to. Who else comes up with that stuff? It's just phenomenal. So it's whimsical, but it's deep. It's a lot of thought goes into lines like that. And then he covers Fort Worth Blues, which his protege, was also a protege of Towns, Steve Earle wrote. Fort Worth Blues, Steve originally put out in 1997. Guy does just a heart wrenching version of it here. Um, and then the aforementioned Sis Draper. It's not just a trilogy. There were anywhere from apparently 7 to maybe 12 songs written about her. Some may have not ever been released, or been released by Sean Camp or other musical cohorts of guys. But the Sis Draper story started here on Cold Dog Soup, and apparently there's a great story that the night before they were set to record it, they just couldn't get the last verse right, and Guy stayed up all night and he wrote a verse that did not go with the rhythm or the rhyme scheme of the entire rest of the song, and it absolutely closes the song perfectly. As I keep using that word, I'm sorry, just ridiculously good. Ain't No Trouble to Me, really good one. Water Under the Bridge, kind of the musically, guitar wise, the precursor to Walkin' Man. Forever, for Always, for Certain, one of the best companionship and love songs you'll hear. Men Will Be Boys, ain't that's just the truth, right? Indian Head Penny, real fun song, talking about the journey of not just currency but of generations and through life. Bunkhouse Blues, Red River, Die Tryin', Be Gone Forever. Just everyone on here is just stellar. So again, any one of these three would be a great place to start. But really, if you've never heard Guy Clark and you want to hear everything he's about, most people would point toward the first album. Live albums are a great place to start. But if you want to know what flawless songwriting and studio recording sounds like on an Americana Texas folk album, Cold Dog Soup is absolutely the place to start. So again, we'll go through these real quick. Number 3, Workbench Songs from 2006, great album. The Dark from 2002, love this album, love the production on it, love the sound of it, love the feel. I can play this one anytime in any mood and I feel better. And then just the absolute peak, the top dog here, Cold Dog Soup from 1999. I love all those albums. Guy Clark's music meant so much to me as it did so many people. I still mourn his loss. I never got to meet him. I never got to see him. But his music, the way he wrote, there was something to it that nobody else had. He could connect. He was such a strong poetic figure just on his own. So I had to kind of talk about some of his albums. So thank you very, very much for listening, for watching. Please share this. Please leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. If you agree, great. If you disagree, please do so respectfully. And I look forward to making more videos and hearing from you and talking with you soon.